Hey, this is Pastor Jackie. Today I want to talk to you about the story of Cain and Abel. It's a very interesting story in that we go from an act of disobedience, eating forbidden fruit, to murder. The next generation. Now, we don't know how much time went by before Eve, had Cain and then Abel. We don't know, how old they were or anything like that. But we do know that in the very next generation, we've already, sin has grown to murder. And so, I'm not going to do the typical thing looking at the story and talking about, am I my brother's keeper? I want to talk about how sin can grow from this story if it's not dealt with. All right? Genesis chapter 4 is where we're going to be reading from. And just read a few of the verses and then we'll talk our way through here. All right? It says, Adam, verse 1, Adam lay with his wife Eve, and she became pregnant and gave birth to Cain. She said, with the help of the Lord, I brought forth a man. Later, she gave birth to his brother Abel. Now, Abel kept flocks and Cain worked the soil. In the course of time, Cain brought some of the fruit of the soil as an offering to the Lord, but Abel brought fat portions from some of the firstborn of his flock. The Lord looked with favor on Abel and his offering, but on Cain and his offering he did not look with favor. So Cain was very angry and his face was downcast. Now let's understand what's going on here. Abel brings his best. Cain brought an offering. But Abel brings his best. This has nothing to do with God liking flocks more than plants or anything, like the crops or whatever. This is one brings the best of what they have and the other one does not. So it's a heart issue. It's always a heart issue when it comes to giving. It's not how much, it's what's in your heart when you do it. The Bible tells us don't do it, begrudgingly. Don't do it with the wrong attitude. Do it with joy, right? And that's not the kind of offering that Cain is bringing. Just bringing something, because I'm supposed to bring an offering. But Abel has brought his very best. Now he's angry because he didn't get any credit for that. Verse 6 says, Then the Lord said to Cain, Why are you angry? Why is your face downcast? If you do what is right, will you not be accepted? But if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at the door. It desires to have you, but you must master it. Now here's what God is trying to tell him is, it was a hard issue already for you to not bring the best of what you have. But if you turn this thing around before it gets any worse, and you do what's right, then, it'll be accepted. But if you stay with this attitude that you have, sin is crouching at the door. Sin is waiting for an opportunity to take this to the next level. Right? Can't give the devil an inch, he'll take a mile. That's what happens. That's exactly what happens. Cain doesn't deal with the heart issue that he has, and the very next step he takes is, while they're out there working in the fields, he kills his own brother. For all of us, therein is the lesson. You have to cut sin off at the pass, no matter where or what it is. Whatever the temptation, if it's sexual temptation, temptation to do drugs, temptation to be angry, temptation to lie, whatever it is, sin always grows. You plant the seed of sin in your heart, and it will always grow and blossom into something that you don't want it to be. So you've got to make sure that you don't give the devil. The Bible says don't give place to the devil. Don't give him room to work. Hope you understand that. I'm Pastor Jackie Jackson. I hope you've enjoyed this message. You can check out more of these messages on YouTube at Jackie Jackson, MIN. And you can also check us out at www.jackiejacksonministries.com. The Bible says in Luke 12:32, Fear not, little flock, for it is the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. God bless you. Bye-bye.